Hi, I'm Kara Swensen. Heidi told me you guys needed an art teacher, and I've been teaching art. I taught in the public schools for a few years, but I teach some classes at the Cash Arts, and the last couple of years I've been teaching a younger homeschool group. Some of the kids I see around here, so I'm like, oh, I know them, and so it's kind of fun. I have 5 kids, and I did not homeschool them. My youngest one will be starting 9th grade this year. But it wasn't something that I didn't consider. I thought about it, but never. I actually sent most of them to a charter school because I wasn't getting what I wanted in the regular public school. So what I am planning on teaching is I feel that it's really important for kids to explore art, to explore using different mediums, and drawing and painting different subject matters. And so we're going to be doing some of that. And I brought some examples of things that I have done and I've done with some of my students in the past. I think one of the first things I want to start with is having them make their own sketchbook. And this is not exactly what I'm going to do, but this is an example of a book. This one has, these are my papers. I think I can get it. Okay, so this is a book I made recently. The cover is made from a jacket that my grandpa tanned and my grandmother sewed, and it wasn't ever really completed, and it was kind of hanging around my house, and I didn't even know where it was from, and I finally figured out, my mom told me that it was my grandpa that made it, and I thought, well, are you okay if I take it apart? Anyway, I thought we would make some kind of a sketchbook. It will probably be a little bit bigger than this. This is kind of small, so that they can draw things that they want to for their projects, draw their ideas, and come up with a plan. Some things that I want to share with them are, and I don't have these all in the order that I will probably teach, but I'll probably teach some watercolor, and I'll teach some different methods. I don't feel like I'm super professional at watercolor, but I am always continually learning, and I take classes to help me become better, and I watch videos, and so here's some examples of some things we might do, like flowers and landscapes, just some objects that they might have around home. We might even do people. This is like a sketch that I did beforehand. And I'm yeah. One of the things I really love doing is printmaking, and so we'll probably do some different kinds of printmaking. One is this is a linoleum print, and another is a dry point etching, where you scratch into some plexiglass and then you print it off. This was actually printed at Skyview, but I have a little tiny press that I put it through, and it's maybe not quite as good, but we can do that with the students. And then if we want to have a field trip of some time, maybe in the evening, we could go to Skyview because I know the art teacher there, and he will let me use his stuff. Here's this is the plexiglass that picture's from. We will do monoprints. This is an abstract monoprint, and this is less abstract. Monoprint tends to be a little more abstract. Sometimes you think you're drawing something, painting something, and then it kind of doesn't quite turn out the way you think it is, and that's called abstract art when you're done. Last summer I went to I taught at a camp, and there was a lady there that did these little prints, and it's on metal, and it uses acid. This is how I learned to do printmaking when I was in college, and I've always wanted to do more of it, but it uses like strong chemicals, and I was like, how do I teach that to kids? And she had a really good method of doing it, and so I would like to do that. I have not actually taught this, but I've learned it. This is my little piece of metal that I did it on. And my phone is ringing now. So, I'm not sure who it is. No, don't. We'll just. Anyway, this is a little piece of metal. When we started out, it had kind of a tar thing on it, and then you would scratch your design out, and then you put it in the acid, and I would do that myself. But so I put it in the acid, and the amount of time that you put it in, then it burns it onto the metal, and then you can put that through a press. Here's another linoleum print, and this one's a little bit different than the one I showed you before. So I'm going to show you the picture first. So I have two colors, and the way I did this was when I cut on the linoleum, I only cut the parts that I cut everything except for where it's red, and then I printed, and you have to choose how many prints you make, and I printed 15 prints, and then I cut more to do the black part. So now my print, I can do only the black part, not the red part, unless I paint it. But typically with prints, you choose the number of prints you're going to make, and that's how many you make. Anyway, another kind of printing that I think is really cool is this is where you draw on this Mylar. So I drew my picture on the Mylar, and then I used glue. We put a glue bead along the bottom, and then we squeegee it down, and it transfers it onto the wood. And I saw this and I thought this was really cool, and I've done this with students, and they really enjoy it. Some other things that I thought we would do is we would explore using colored pencils and how to make them blend. This is just a little sketch I did, but here's how you would use color pencil. And see, I even like have my little samples, like trying to figure out the colors that I'm using. One of my classes I did, we just kind of explored like some like MC Escher-ish kind of stuff. So kids often like to do this kind of stuff and how to shade it. One thing that we will do probably in the very beginning is figure out how to draw and use a grid to get your picture the way you want it to be. This is a little student that I teach currently online, and I was teaching his sister, and so the two of us did this online, and so I was doing the same picture as she did, and I actually probably need to like erase my grid and send the picture to them. But I don't even see them in person. Also, like, we'll possibly get to draw figures. Well, my students will probably be able to become models for a little bit. Learn how to sit still for 15 minutes, because that's about all they can do, probably. So we'll do some portraits like that. We may work with charcoal. And what I did on this is I covered the whole thing with charcoal, and then I actually drew with the eraser. So we'll do some things like that. And then oftentimes my students love chalk pastels, so we'll probably explore with chalk pastels. Another thing I don't really have a picture of is we'll do some stuff with pen and ink. I don't know. And then I like to allow the students to decide things that they really enjoy doing. And if there's something that they want to do, and I don't know how to do it, I will learn how to do it, and we will learn how to do it together. And so if your student wants to take this class and there's something that they really want to learn, we will learn it. Because I love to learn how to do new things, and I love figuring it out with my students.